Okay, so you're not available for LinkedIn. So let's just leave LinkedIn for now. Plus the page does not access. Anyways, this is just a test stream for everyone or anyone who's looking as well. We're not recording it as well, but Austin and I, Supercharged Stocks, testing out StreamYard. And I guess we're not working on LinkedIn, but we should be on YouTube and Facebook. But we want to talk quickly about a little GME update, and we'll have this conversation again, but we certainly want to take a look at that because it leads into a couple what I call predatory short attacks against Mountain Valley MD. That has happened. That share dropped from 210 down to about $1.34 in the last couple of days. But more interestingly, and came out of left field as well, is Exro Technologies, which is a company that I've worked with over the past year. And I did announce back in end of December that I had exited my position. Not for any other reason other than I was deploying capital otherwise, but I was a big fan of the company. I thought they were going to do very well. So when I saw this attack, and we'll get into that in a minute, I was very doubtful of this report from this source that has 160 followers, has done such an impact. But before we get into that, let's talk about GameStop, because that's kind of where people are coming into speed about these predatory shorts and how they work. So tell us, Austin, what's happening with are we going to the moon?
Still fighting along. The moon is still in play, I guess you could say. There's definitely a chance. I think it's difficult to kind of get a handle on what exactly is going to happen because it's such a volatile situation. And regardless of where you look for information, it's being skewed in different ways. Everyone's got their own spin that they're going to try to put on it. At this point, everyone and their mother's trying to make money off it, whether you're a retail investor or hedge fund or anything like that. I've heard everything from, the short squeeze is coming this week to no, the short squeeze isn't coming until March 18th. Like, okay. I heard, every Wednesday it's going to skyrocket. Why every Wednesday? I have no idea, but there was a whole Reddit thread that tried to explain that it does all its moving on Wednesdays. So you want to make sure you are holding it on a Wednesday. I don't know. It's an entertaining situation, but it's such a difficult one to get a grasp on, to really understand what's happening. And I think that's because of the scope of everyone involved. Is you do have so many people who might not actually have a clue what they're doing, playing around with this sort of thing. And it's still a heavily shorted stock. The short interest float was still well up over 60%.
Yeah. So it's interesting too. Sorry, because I just got to just make a quick comment. What's his name? That Diamond Hands. What's his real name?
Keith Gill, Ken Gill.
Yes, and he was in front of Congress and he held his own. He did a great job. And I'm all for what he's up to. I think, and once again, there's so many angles to this that people are missing a lot of different sides to it. And of course, there's a large amount of people that got into this just for the lulls. They don't know what they're doing. They're in for a wake-up call sooner or later. But to me, that's like, it's market beware. I mean, you're if you don't know what you're doing, and there's a saying, like I guess in playing poker, if you walk into a poker game and you don't know who's the mark, you're the mark. If you don't know what's happening, what are you doing? And unless you're going, I've never gone to Vegas, but I would go. I'm not a gambler, and I'd be going just to literally just lose money. Like, I'll lose $100, have some fun, have some laughs, end of story.
Exactly.
So that's what a lot of these people don't realize, that that's who they are right now.
Yeah. That's very true. There's a lot of people who I think bought into the hype of seeing, like, oh my God, I could make $100,000 off of putting in $5,000 into this. Like, why the hell wouldn't I try that? And so many people already got burned the last time around when, the stock was up well over $300 and then all of a sudden skyrocketed down to, I think, lows of in the low 40s, maybe even the high 30s at some points. And I think a lot of people got burned there. So I think there's a lot of those people that are trying to recoup something now. But it's like you making the poker analogy there. It's the Kenny Rogers song. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. And this is a situation it's difficult to read, because I don't even know when to hold or fold at this point anymore, because it's just it makes no goddamn sense.
No, and this one fellow, he knows, because he's done a ton of. I believe he's a CFA, so he is a smart cookie. He's done his research. His strategy is an actual strategy. and this I kind of talk about in the market model mindset, is if you don't have a model or you don't have a plan as to how you're entering, why you're buying what you're buying, how you're getting out, you're headed for trouble. I mean, you just are. I mean, it doesn't mean you have no business doing that. It's just, it's not a very good formulated thought pattern, or I kind of view it, if you're investing kind of like in an experiment, a science experiment. If you're not set up, you have everything in place, and you're testing a theory out, and if it goes up, it goes up. Great, we'll test it again. If you're just willy-nilly chasing after things, it's a surefire way for disappointment and hardship, or I just want to make money for money's sake. If you don't have a plan, it's very doubtful you're going to hit it.
Exactly, and I think you got to have a concise plan and stick to it. You get too many people that come into it, oh, well, this is what I'm going to do, and then change their mind after one dip or something like that. If you're committed to, I'm going to hold through these dips, I know it might get ugly. I know I could see thousands of dollars disappearing before my very eyes, but you've got to stick to that strategy, or at least have some sort of exit strategy in mind. If you get in there and say, well, I'm going to just hold forever, okay, good for you, but expect to lose your shorts. If you want to get into this, and you got to have a concise plan on when you want to get in and when you want to get out. Otherwise, you just end up feeling and looking like an idiot.
Yeah, and that's the number one thing you see with people. It's not only their own personal plan, is they'll literally change strategy. I mean, I like the way that I invest. I think it works for me. It certainly works for my personality types, but all of these systems that can work. I mean, day trading, options, derivatives, different markets. You have to find what's right for your personality and the stress level you can take, the leverage you can take. But what happens is often someone goes, I'm going to start off being a swing trader. I'm going to chase after this, and then I'm going to change my strategy entirely midway through. And that's not a strategy. That's not good. So, you should deploy the amount of capital you want, test the theory, stick to it. Otherwise, it's just luck. If you're just chasing after, I'll try this and I'll try this and I'll try that, it's not a very sound plan. And that kind of distinguishes between some of these people that we've got them interested. There's a lot of people, we've garnered their attention, interested in the markets. If we can direct them into different types of actual long-term investment strategies, macro outlook, that's kind of where I see this supercharged stocks being quite educational and helpful to help people realize what are the main key themes that people want to see, where is money being deployed at like the $1 trillion level, and how does this work to shape a kind of future that we all want to see. And I mean, I won't go too much into my own philosophy and the market model mindset idea, but one thing, you make a ton of money off of short selling. There's lots of things there, but what happens is it is predatory, and I have disdain for it, because what you see is what's happened with Exro is that someone's come out with a report. They're quite frankly, I've never heard of them before. That doesn't mean anything, but they're on Seeking Alpha, which is a huge network and a huge platform, and they felt okay to publish it. I don't know if they did any query as to the validity of what the claims were. It doesn't look like in the article this person wrote that they reached out to any of the companies at all for comment or for any details. I immediately saw the effect that it had. I mean, it cut the stock in half, basically, because just that's all it takes. And believe me, just as much as there's stock promoters pushing up a stock price, talking about the great things about a company, there are people paid as well to be the flip side, which is the short report, to do exactly what that just did. And I think it's more insidious when they do this, because that is 100% market manipulation. And I'm hoping that whoever this person is heavily investigated. I love the fact that Exro came out within 4 hours with a statement. And I think in the next 24 to 48, they'll have basically point by point walkthrough to discredit what they've kind of postulated. But this is reckless type of behavior, because they could have called Exro, they could have talked to them. The one thing that I can tell you from the year relationship I've had with everyone over there that I've met, and particularly Sue, with her pedigree and her background, working at GE for years, working her way up the ranks, this is someone with a high amount of credibility, a high amount of virtue, a high amount of business ethics. She is not a pump and dump, which this article is specifically claiming. This is not that team. This is, if you go look at this management team, this is not that. by a long shot. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes, and I hope something aggressive happens. Actually, to be perfectly honest, because they've picked the wrong company to chase after for what they're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I think so. And like you were saying, it's really good that they came out with an aggressive statement saying, look, no, we wholeheartedly disagree with this. There are outright malicious and claims of disinformation essentially in this. And re-solidified that this is our growth plan. This is our strategy. We're more determined and committed to this than we ever have been before. It's predatory. It's probably going to get looked at. I hope it gets looked at deeper. I'm really excited to see what Exro come out with it, and I hope hopefully we get it by tomorrow afternoon at some point. Their basically breakdown of all these claims and their rebuttal to it, because I think it's going to be quite strong from them. And should hopefully boost investor confidence back up. And we did see it rally hard today, even after just the statement last night. I think it's back up to close somewhere around $4.50 today.
Yeah, I was just checking that, 452. It's up 46%. So I mean, that's what was expected. It would jump in. Once again, I don't have a position in it. I don't work with them anymore, so I'm not speaking on their behalf. I reached out to the company as well, but I know the people working there, they've got their hands full to have to deal with Andrew. There's bigger people to talk to. But hopefully I will get a chance to speak with them, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they say. I immediately could see that some of the links in that report weren't even going anywhere. So
Yeah.
I immediately was like, okay, wait a second, that link isn't showing me what you claim it's showing. So I immediately thought, and I could see also the comment section was reiterating a lot of the same things. Like, this looks like exactly what a predatory attack looks like for short sellers. But this is, it's an ugly market, ugly times, and this is the kind of manipulation that we used to see on the buy side back with quote unquote pump and dump. This is the same type of thing, just the other way around. We're not going to talk the stock up. We're going to try to talk it as bad as possible to make people panic and dump and gain from that. So, I don't like that. If it was a company that was even questionable, I wouldn't feel quite as bad. But as far as I can see, they've really picked the worst company they could chase after.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a smart strategy to go after a company that now on the surface it really seems as sound and well put together and well led as Exro is. I know you closed out your position for transparency purposes. I actually didn't with mine. I'm still involved in Exro.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? I'm going to go back in as well tomorrow just because of a show of solidarity. Plus, I mean, I'll probably pick up a bunch in theory. Because listen, this company's going places. I know it is. I've got absolute conviction, and it's to see this kind of thing happen. I don't like that at all. And but it happens. So that's part of the market, and that's part of the volatility we have, and that's part of the world we live in today. But I think if we just hone in on the fact that what we're interested in here is, we like to talk about some of these stocks and like GameStop and other stories that are interesting in the news, but I want to find real management with real either properties or real companies that are building real things towards this innovative future that we all want to see. And there are lots of great companies out there. And if you're there to help build that, build this vision, that's a bigger play and that's a bigger story for me than me having to chase after one trade here, one trade there, having to read this comment there. I don't have to. I have absolute confidence in the companies that I've picked for the year. So I don't really care if it goes up or down sideways. I've got my own beliefs of where I think they're going to go by the end of the year, and I'm pretty confident. It's a lot less worry and stress for me.
Well, that's what ties back into the point we were making about strategy and having a plan, right? Is that it really helps. You don't have as many sleepless nights when you feel sound about a company. It's like, okay, yeah, you know what? It might have had a dip today. It might have a dip later in the week, and it might rocket up in a month's time. But as long as you're sound with what you believe in the company and you've seen their track record and their team can put forward, that's such a critical part of the plan to have. And I love that meme of it's stirring up on Reddit now where it's like, this is a casino, sir. It's like, yeah, it is a casino if you don't have a plan. But if you come in here with a plan, it's a market. It is somewhere where you can not only make money for yourselves, it's somewhere where you can help build these companies that are setting the tone for the future, that are going to be able to define kind of the next generation of technology, of industry, of mining, of green energy, all of those platforms. There's so many great companies out there that you can get involved in. It just sucks to see one like Exro getting attacked like this.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? They're gonna pull ahead at the end of the day. And this is, once again, this is our test run. We have a couple of people on. We didn't promote it. We didn't talk about it. We didn't let anyone know we're doing it. But we're testing out StreamYard. We're going to do a lot more of these, and we're also going to focus on bringing some of these companies on to talk about just this kind of stuff. Not only just to hear them talk about their own projects and what they're doing, but also just kind of get some insights of the markets as well, and just let people kind of see some of these CEOs and presidents out there that are of such good quality that we have just in our backyard here in Canada, and to try to garner a lot of this attention people have on the markets and focus them on real companies, real projects, real teams, and helping to fund them and reward them as they hit milestones, climbing that ladder towards building this future tomorrow. So thank you, Austin, for being on. Any last words, any thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, just really looking forward to being able to continue to do these, have discussions in this kind of platform. I know we've got some exciting guests that we're interested in bringing on, guys that would like to chat with us, that we want to chat with and showcase their industry knowledge and intelligence. And yeah, really looking forward to continuing these chats and getting live streams going more often. So it's going to be exciting.
Good. So we'll see how this raw run through worked out, and we'll have more of them, and we'll start building this up. Thanks, everyone, and thank you, Austin, for your time, and we'll chat again soon.
Perfect. We'll chat to you later.